What's up, everyone? Welcome to Film Surgery, where we dissect deep into the world of cinema. I'm your host, Nick Wright, a cinema studies student from the University of Oregon.
And I'm Sanjay Arman Kumar II, a neuroscience student here at the University of Oregon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sanjay. So, if you're just joining us for this episode, Film Surgery is where we take a storytelling first approach to breaking down films. In the past couple episodes, we've talked with Pete Wright about Patch Adams and shared a behind-the-scenes look at our own film, Unidentified. And today, we are talking about The Fault in Our Stars.
I believe we have a choice in this world about how to tell sad stories. On the one hand, you can sugarcoat it. And nothing is too messed up that can't be fixed with a Peter Gabriel song. I like that version as much as the next girl does. It's just not the truth. This is the truth.
Hey, make some friends.
Sorry.
My bad. I'm Augustus Waters. I've been in remission for about a year and a half.
Maybe you'd like to share some of your fears with the group.
My fears? Oblivion. What's your name?
Hazel.
What's your full name?
Hazel Grace Lancaster. Why are you staring at me?
Because you're beautiful.
So, this movie, Fault in Our Stars, directed by Josh Boone, based on the novel by John Green, is about Hazel Grace Lancaster, a 16-year-old cancer patient who meets and falls in love with Gus Waters, a similarly affected teen from her cancer support group. Hazel feels that Gus really understands her. They both share the same wit and love of books, especially Grace's touchstone, An Imperial Affliction by Peter Van Houten. When Gus scores an invitation to meet the reclusive author, he and Hazel embark on the adventure of their brief lives. So, The Fault in Our Stars, by John Green, explores the reality of terminal cancer through the lens of a 16-year-old girl, Hazel Lancaster, and her budding romance with 17-year-old Augustus Waters. The story's background is rooted in Green's personal experiences, including his work with terminally ill children, and his profound relationship with fan Esther Earle, who inspired Hazel's character. The novel also draws inspiration from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, with the title referencing the lines, "The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we are underlings," which Hazel interprets in the way that challenges the idea that fate controls our lives. So, with this movie being about cancer, I wanted to talk with our co-host Sanjay Arman Kumar about some questions that I had with including cancer. So, Sanjay, what is cancer?
Nick, I'm so glad you asked this because cancer is a disease that many people in the world are currently battling, and many people also know others who have battled cancer. And it's really important for us to know the specifics and how would this actually affect someone's lives. So, cancer is a disease that affects your body's cells due to DNA mutation. And this eventually results in an uncontrollable proliferation, which refers to just the splitting apart of the body's cells and eventually multiplying at a rapid growth. Eventually, these cells can metastasize, which means that they spread rapidly to other regions of the body besides the site of origin. And common treatments of cancer, which we also really explore in this movie, include chemotherapy and radiation therapy and even surgery to remove the tumor. And as of we know today, there's no official cure for cancer, but these main methods of treatment are the most effective in at least slowing down the growth, which can further expand the lifespan of someone who's battling cancer. And if the cancer reaches a later stage, such as stage 4, it becomes stronger when increasing in growth and can therefore become more resistant towards the methods of treatment.
That's very interesting. So what kind of cancer does Hazel have in this film, and how is it affecting her?
Well, we know from the very early on in the film that Hazel battles stage 4 thyroid cancer, and which affects the cells of the thyroid gland, which is located just below the Adam's apple of where your neck is. And you see throughout the film she wears these pair of oxygen tubes that are connected in her nose, which is actually called a nasal cannula. And this is a type of, basically this pair of oxygen tubes that are much more helpful in allowing her to easily breathe in oxygen, since also early on in the film we also explore how she does have breathing difficulties because of liquid that fills up in her lungs as a result of the cancer that she's having, and the cells that are spreading over to her lungs from the thyroid gland.
That's very interesting. So going off of Hazel's cancer, we also know that Augustus has cancer too. So what happened to him about that?
Well, what's really interesting about the type of cancer that Gus is battling in the film is that the type that he has is called osteosarcoma, which is a type of cancer that originally starts off in the bone tissue, affecting the osteoblast cells. And these type of cells are responsible for forming new bone tissue during growth. So such as when if you're a teen or you're a younger kid and you begin to experience growth spurts, your bones are growing. So the osteoblasts are responsible for forming newer bone tissue. And even if you fracture a bone, that's what those cells are also responsible for doing, and repairing the bone tissue. And you see that throughout the film, which is also explained in the beginning. You see that Gus is actually seen wearing this prosthetic leg because he had to undergo this surgery where they had to amputate his leg due to the bone cancer in order to, again, another method of treatment to just get rid of the cancer and prevent it from spreading to other parts of his body.
Yeah. And that's really, honestly, like, I mean, I've never had to go through it, but it seems very tough, like a big effector of your life.
Yeah, definitely.
So, talking about sequels and remakes, while there are no actual remakes or sequels, John Green, the author of the Fault in Our Stars book, has written so many other books and helped with so many other shows and movies, including but not limited to Looking for Alaska, An Abundance of Catherines, Everything is Tuberculosis, Paper Towns, and Turtles All the Way Down. All right, now we are on to awards. All right, so this film has won so many different awards. Going off the Teen Choice Awards, it won the Choice Movie for Drama, the Choice Movie Actor for Ansel Elgort, the Choice Movie Actress for Shailene Woodley, and the Choice Movie Lip Lock between Woodley and Elgort.
And also in 2015, it won the MTV Movie Award for Best Female Performance by Shailene Woodley. It also won the award for Best Kiss between Woodley and Elgort, and was nominated for Movie of the Year.
And lastly, we have the People's Choice Awards in 2015 as well. It was the winner of the Favorite Dramatic Movie. That is crazy.
Wow.
That's wild.
I'd say it definitely deserves the award.
100%. Sanjay, what did you think of this movie overall? Like, what were your thoughts after watching it?
Oh man, honestly, I thought this movie was so captivating. It was so captivating and super emotional a lot of the times. And this is also my first movie that I'm watching by John Green's novel. And I have to say, it's really definitely increased my my interest on exploring other stories by John Green. I really loved how, of course, we have the medical aspects in this film about cancer, but it really helps out for anyone who's battling cancer currently or knows loved ones who have battled cancer, allowing them to resonate with these characters in the film, and just kind of looking through the perspective of someone who is battling cancer and how they are dealing with that part of their life, but also the other aspects at the same time, such as their family and even romantic relationships. So incorporating that drama of battling with cancer and also the romantic side of the film definitely was really emotional to combine.
Yeah, there were several scenes, such as the funeral scene at the very end for Ansel Elgort's character Gus, that really hit me. I listened to the book on Libby, and I guess it's different when you're listening to it than when you're actually watching something on the screen, because it hit harder. It definitely hit harder. And yeah, it was cool to see a different take on it.
Yeah, I'm sure it must have kind of produced stronger feelings by actually seeing it in visual form. When you see the actors actually putting on this performance, it brings out so much more of an emotional side compared to even when you're reading it. And I'm sure reading the book also really captures your heart when understanding these characters throughout the film and getting to know them. And when you have to lose one of the protagonists in the film, it really hits hard emotionally.
Yeah. No, I do agree. One thing I did want to point out is that John Green was actually in the film. He played a little girl's father in one of the flashbacks, which I think I didn't notice until I was looking at the cast list. But it's very cool to see the actual author of this book originally be portraying a character in it, and I think that's really cool.
That's really cool. I actually did not even know that until this moment that he made a cameo in the movie.
Sanjay, I take it you liked the movie. What would you give it out of 5 stars?
Oh, Nick, just like I said at the very end when we watched the movie, I gave it a full 10 out of 10, and that I say that with full confidence. So this movie, I got to give 5 out of 5 stars.
Nice. Yeah, I would give the same 5 out of 5. And if you haven't read the book, I would say highly suggest go check it out. John Green is such a wonderful author, and all of his projects, he definitely knows what he's like, who he's writing for, and it's just great. Anything else before we wrap up?
Yeah, Nick, I actually want to ask you one question. I want to ask you, what did you think about the trip when Hazel and Gus visited Amsterdam to meet their beloved author of the books that they're fans of?
Well, honestly, that was one of my least favorite parts. I'd say Willem Dafoe, he's such a great actor, but this character, the character he plays is such a jerk. Like, he's just a drunk old man, and it's so sad. Because I love all the other characters he plays, and he just does such a good job at acting so mean. I just can't. Yeah. So, I thought the Amsterdam montage trip was very, very cool. I like the way they did that.
Yeah, I definitely agree that, and I think that comes under the moment when they meet their favorite author, who's Peter Van Houten, played by Willem Dafoe. That's honestly one of the saddest scenes, I'd say, for me, because they spend this whole time going to Amsterdam, and for the main purpose to meet this author. And of course we know the main character Hazel, she's such a huge fan of his book, and she goes there and meets him and is just presented with this toxic personality by the author that she wasn't expecting. And you can just see in the scene when all she wants to do is know what happens at the end of that book. What happens to the character, but he's just giving the answer that she doesn't want and just really mistreating them.
Yeah, it's terrible. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us to talk about The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, directed by Josh Boone. We can't wait for you guys to join us for another episode. And yeah,
thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Highly recommend watching this film and even reading the book for sure, because that's all John Green's mind, his own words. So anyone, if you're someone who's battling cancer or knows someone who's battled cancer, this is a great story that gives you a moment of allows you to resonate with.
Yeah, gives you a moment of appreciation for it.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much. And I will put all information about Esther Earl and this whole background of the movie and where to watch this movie all in the description of this episode.
Nice. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode, and please stay tuned for our next appointment.
Thank you.